Welcome to PDX Spotlight. I'm your host, Natasha Haynes. Here with us today, young, talented, self-taught Nashona O'Siggins.
Took my love and I took it down. Climb a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle all the seasons of my life? I don't know. I've been afraid of changing since I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. Took my love and I took it down. Climb a mountain and I turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, a landslide will bring you down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, a landslide will bring you down.
When did you first start getting interested in music?
Well, my mother used to put her guitar down on the floor for me to play with when I was a baby, so I wasn't any older than 2 or 3 when I first started developing an interest and a taste for music. I actually only started seriously playing guitar about 3 or 4 years ago, so it hasn't been too long that I've gotten into it, like really into it. But as a child, I learned in middle school how to play the flute. I was playing the clarinet long before I was in middle school. I think it was 1st grade that I picked up a clarinet. So it's been most of my life that I've played music.
Okay, and you said you seriously started playing guitar about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you learn?
I just taught myself on the internet mostly. I just went and searched up chords for songs that I wanted to play and taught myself.
Okay, that's big. That's big, girl. So, like you said, the flute and the clarinet, you learned in middle school. So you did have some kind of background as far as musical training and as far as those instruments were concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other instruments you said you played?
Violin, piano, cello, saxophone, and I'm in the process of learning accordion.
All self-taught.
Yeah.
How did you go about learning?
YouTube mostly, and music books. Being in middle school band, I learned how to read music, so that was really helpful because I would go to the music store and get basic, like, teach yourself how to play books, and I would learn them, learn songs from there, and basic fingering for the violin, and yeah.
Okay. So we know when you started playing music. How serious about music are you now? Is it beyond just a hobby? Where do you want to be in a few years with music?
Well, I would say it is beyond a hobby, mostly because most of my life I've been playing music, and my relatives and my family and friends, I bet you can imagine, are all over the idea of me becoming famous and, you know, playing my music for a vast amount of people, which I do want to do. So, I mean, mostly right now it's just about finding opportunities for myself that will allow me to develop a fan base and that will get me into different gigs with different people that I can make connections for basically developing my own musical career.
Right, so that kind of goes into getting out there, putting yourself out there, performing, all that kind of stuff. We see you perform on, or we see your videos on YouTube. You do your thing online. That's amazing. I mean, how comfortable are you performing live?
Because of musical theater and all the talent shows that I did for 7 or 8 years in my childhood, I'm very comfortable with it. Like, I have no problem just picking up a guitar in front of a crowd and playing music, so.
So you don't get nervous at all?
Not anymore, no.
That's good. That's great.
He's got a broken voice and a twisted smile. Guess he's been that way now for quite a while. He's got mud on his shoes and blood on his brim. Did he do it to himself, or was it done to him? La da 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 da. And people think he don't look well, but all he needs, from what I can tell, is someone to help wash away all the paint from his purple hands before it gets too late. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. I saw him stand alone under a broken street light, so sincere, singing Silent Night. But the trees, they were full, and the grass was green. It was the sweetest thing I had ever seen. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. He may move slow, but that don't mean he's going nowhere. He may be moving slow, but that don't mean he's going nowhere. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
I can see that you have such a diversity of music. You go from Etta James to All American Rejects, one of my favorites, Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
So you would say, though, that you are leaning more towards towards what kind of style?
Folk music,
Okay.
mostly, just because it's what I grew up around.
Right.
My parents were really into that culture, so it's just been around me for a long time.
Very cool. Has your family had any influences on you? As far as, I mean, you're saying that your parents have kind of introduced, you know, these artists to you, but do your parents play any instruments? Do they sing?
My mother actually plays guitar pretty well, and she's taught herself how to play the mandolin and a couple of other instruments. My family was just really artsy in general, I guess. Music and art, painting was all a big part of my life growing up.
Let's talk a little bit about your original songs, where they came from, what's inspired you. Do you have any particular song that you're like, that is my favorite, that's what I want to play all the time, that's what I want to see on iTunes?
Oh, well, I wrote one about a year ago called Train Tracks, and that's actually one that I'm going to play tonight for you guys. It's basically, it was inspired by a relationship that I had at the time that was one of my first big relationships. I'm sure we all remember our first love. So I wrote it for him, and I still really like that song. So, I mean, it just has a lot of meaning to me, and when I wrote it, it was a particularly monumental time in my life. I was sort of coming into my own and, you know, getting myself out there and starting to really discover the real world and broaden my horizons. And it's basically just about the path that a relationship can take with two people loving each other and where it can lead. That's definitely my favorite one.
That's beautiful. So your ex kind of inspired you.
Yeah.
Has he heard the song?
Yes, he has. I played it for him, actually.
What did he say?
He really liked it.
Said you wanted me and you. And were you being serious and acting all delirious when I said you're amazing, it's true? What if we could just hop on a train and start over somewhere new? And what if the tracks of that train led me straight to you? Can you give me an answer and promise to tell me no lies? If I told you you were everything I wanted, would it come as a surprise? And what if we could just hop on a train and start over somewhere new? And what if the tracks of that train led me straight to you? sorry for doing things that I should have thought through a little then. I hope you can forgive me. Please stay with me, 'cause it's better when you're with your best friend. What if we could just hop on a train and start over somewhere new? And what if the tracks of that train led me straight to you?
Okay, so originally born in Montana and then moved to Olympia and then headed this way.
Yeah.
So what drew you to the Portland area?
I've heard numbers on numbers of stories about culture and how people are here just free to be themselves. And growing up, I grew up in a very conservative Christian town, and my parents being lesbian, our family, it took a while for people to get used to the idea because it was completely foreign to them.
Right.
So I really kind of had a little bit of trouble growing up because kids would make fun of me. They didn't really understand my family dynamic. It was totally not even appropriate to them. So Portland just drew me because I've always wanted somewhere where I can be completely free to be myself, because I am a pretty original person. I'm very creative, and Portland is the place for that.
Right, most definitely. It is a diverse group by far. So do you think you found what you're looking for as far as that diversity and kind of open-minded thinking here?
Yes, definitely.
I went up to the mountain because you asked me to. Up over the clouds to where the sky is blue. I could see all around me, everywhere. I could see all around me, everywhere. Sometimes I feel like I've never been nothing but tired, and I'll be working till the day I expire. And sometimes I lay down. No more can I do, but then I go on again, because you asked me to. Some days I look down, afraid I will fall, and though the sun shines, I see nothing at all. Then I hear your sweet voice, oh, telling me softly you love me so. The peaceful valley just over the mountain, the peaceful valley few come to know. I may never get there ever in this lifetime, but sooner or later it is there I will go.
So what would be like your dream scenario as far as music was concerned? Like where would you like to be?
Well, I've always wanted to play live a performance in front of lots and lots and lots of people, like a big concert, and go on tour and just be a really popular music artist. But I would not want my music to be, I guess, I wouldn't want my music to be misunderstood by people, because I feel like a lot of artists today do have their music misunderstood, and they sort of end up getting absorbed in being famous and having that lifestyle, and I wouldn't want that for myself.
Right. As far as going with not sticking to their true genre, maybe kind of going towards what's popular.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
I would also like to see myself in a recording studio making an album of my own, so that maybe I can have a CD, you know, that will sort of be a demo for people who are interested in my music. Alright, this is going to be one of my original songs. I haven't played it live for anyone other than my dog yet, so it might be a little rocky. If it is, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do my best, and it's called Answer My Questions. I hope you like it.
All my life I've been looking for something. All I know is that I haven't found it yet. All my life I've been learning these lessons through songs whose words I'd rather forget. Some may tell of a time when they listened to a story of things that went wrong. If only they saw in your crystal vision, I'm sure they'd think twice about coming along. And I've learned about love, I've learned about hate, I've learned of the things that we should not create. And I've heard people cry, I've heard people ask, why do we learn all these lessons if we're only gonna die? And my questions answered in time. It's the saddest thing when someone loses who they are because of someone else. Who are we as people to have the power to destroy another's health? Who gave you the right to start this fight, a battle that we're never gonna win? And to expect them to get up after you knock them down and do it all over again. And I've learned about love, I've learned about hate, I've learned of the things that we should not create. I've heard people cry, I've heard people ask, why does life teach us all these lessons if we're only gonna die? And these questions answered in time. Why must we sacrifice the people in war when our battles are mostly fought inside? And why do we corrupt the innocent child and tell them only that we tried? And I've learned about love, I've learned about hate, I've learned of the things that we should not create. I've heard people cry, I've heard people ask, why do we learn all these lessons if we're only gonna die? And my questions answered